Alright, so I want to talk about Days Gone. Played this game. Took me about a week to beat it, and it was pretty interesting. It was a crazy story, weird gameplay, interesting. I had a good time. There was some janky stuff, but yeah, I want to talk about it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment, please. Thank you. Yeah, the main protagonist was a pretty interesting person. He was sort of relatable, but at the same time, not really. Like he just did a lot of kind of douchey things, I would say. And it's interesting to see how different the characters are these days compared to how it was in like 2018 when this game came out. I think it came out in 2018. It was either 2018 or 2019. But the gameplay is really good. The setting is really beautiful. There is a nice atmosphere that is created and shown off in this game, which is pretty unique, like at the northwestern side of America in Oregon. And then it's a post-apocalyptic, so it almost has like a Fallout vibe to it. But there's more growth and nature. And so the setting, the combat, there's interesting aspects to the game, such as bike riding. And then you have to do like stealth missions where you're trying to hide from the Nero soldiers and like spy on them and get information about where your wife has gone, or where you think she may have died or whatever, in the beginning. So some of the story beats are pretty cheesy, and the main character is kind of just a cheeseball, and the facial animations are pretty funny in this game. Like, they're not great, but the game plays well. It has a little bit of hiccups here and there. The PS4 Slim I played it on can't handle the hordes really at all. There is some major issues going on. Like, I found myself actually resetting the PS4 to try to see if it fixed some of the things, because I thought maybe it was like overheating or something, because it's not exactly in a super open area when I'm playing it. But some of the survival elements, hunting and the fighting, you have like a boot blade that you can use, and that's pretty interesting to kind of make yourself use it as like a last resort. But the other things, like the melee weapons that you get to upgrade, and then you come across all of these zombies and a lot of human enemies, and then the game likes to throw in, after the human enemies, it likes to throw in like wolves and bears. So like you'll wipe down some human enemy, kind of like horde of humans that took over, and then there'll be like a little bit of zombies sprinkled in there, and then all of a sudden there will be like 4 wolves that come after all of that. So it's like, wow, okay, you just kind of never know when the battle is going to be done. So it makes it really interesting to try to like conserve your health and ammo in that way without it, like, without you giving too much into one fight, because you always might have to have more health in order to fight the rest of it. So it's really interesting, because there was a couple times where I caught myself not healing directly after the fight. And
Yes,
then
I could. Thank you for finally offering. I'm Sarah.
I'm Deacon.
not
Oh,
healing
well, sorry about the
after the
mess.
fight and then
I don't. How do
realizing
I?
that I didn't have
This
Pretty much what
contraption.
you think
enough
just by your
health to make it through the
leg
next
over.
fight.
Okay.
Well, the same fight, but another stage of the fight, so it's kind of funny.
Okay.
But yeah, the
Ready.
story is really
Hey!
cheesy, but it's
Hey!
also interesting because I thought for sure she was his wife. Like, I knew that she wasn't dead. He thought she was. I didn't see the story going the way that it did, though. So there is some interesting things that happened that kind of surprised me. There's some interesting character development. There's not too much romantic stuff. The gameplay with the bicycle is really fun. Or not the bicycle, the motorcycle. Like, it's cool. I like having it. I like that he has it. I like that you get to develop, kind of evolve it and make it your own. And use creative means to make it. It's kind of like your RPG elements there with the bike. And then also he has his own skill tree also, which is nice. And some of the ones are really powerful, especially when you get towards the end of the trees, but then trying to go back and fill them out once you reach the end of them is just kind of like feels like there's just some wasted slots in there where you'd rather have more health and stuff, but the health is tied to the Nero injectors, which is like a medicine. And then there's a lot of
And I'm gonna do a lot
roaming around trying to find stuff. So there's a lot of dead space and filler in this game where you're either like following somebody or somebody's riding with you on the motorcycle, or you're just searching for inventory stuff. Like the Molotov cocktail inventory is not, or the components that it takes to make them is not found all over the place, and it doesn't really respawn. Like I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Gasoline is easy to find, but it gets really hard towards the end where you got to take down some of these hordes as a part of the main mission. It gets difficult because there isn't enough. Like, I spent 2 hours looking for the napalm stuff before I did like the last mission with the hordes, because there's like, I think there's 3 of them in the main story that they make you fight hordes, and then it's like, okay, the first couple it's fine, but then you get to that last one, and it's like I didn't have any napalms, and I was going to the Nero camps to try to get all this stuff that had already been picked through, so it just became this like pain in the ass to try to finish this game. But I liked it, I enjoyed it. It wasn't super terrible for me to like have to do it. It just felt like, okay, well, that was 2 hours added on to try to like finish this part of the story mode. The gunplay in this game is amazing. The sound effects the gun have and that the weapons have, and the sound effects are really good. His chatter and his banter, I could cut off. I could have not have it. He's kind of annoying, and he's crazy too. Like, he always running his mouth about stuff. But the guns are really rewarding, and trying to like kind of use specific weapons and swap out your kit like as you go through. It's pretty cool, man. Like, some of the guns, they say it has like a low accuracy, but when you start getting comfortable with the little thing, and then you crouch down when you shoot, and it'll like kind of zoom in a little bit more, and it just becomes like this headshot rewarding game where it's like I just went for all the headshots that I could, simply because you got like 1.5 times the experience when you killed people using headshots, and it just felt really, really rewarding. So I turned on the XP thing to let you know when you killed some of them, because some of the zombies would come back. Like, you would kill them, or you thought you kill them, but if you didn't see the XP go on their head, then they wouldn't actually be dead. So it was cool to kind of have that. The motorcycle was pretty alright. Some of the missions were just kind of, you go back and forth and just slow going. But the main story missions were pretty diverse. So it kind of kept you kind of on your toes, and there would be heavy dialogue, heavy combat, followed by a chase scene followed by following this person, or he'd be riding with you, followed by another dialogue. So it's like it kind of kept you on your feet here, like understanding that there's a diverse set of things in this game. There is a lot of filler. I will say that. And some of the story just cheesy. Some of the bad guys are just dumb. Like, I don't. It's just it didn't resonate with me as much as it should have. But it was always really exciting to go back out once you figured out that you could upgrade. You could get your weapons, and then you could, anywhere you went, like either the Nero facilities, and once you got the gas rhythm down, and then you went, and you could always have full ammo. Like, it was really, really nice to play with the guns, to shoot, to get the headshots, and to see where the story led you in that aspect of going out and killing. So I was always just waiting for those opportunities. So I felt like some of the stuff where it was tagged in there to kind of keep the flow of the game diverse felt like I wish it would have been more combat oriented, more things for me to blast and use my dodge roll combat. And then I think that the game is about 10 hours too long, which is probably a hot take, because I feel like most people consider longer games a better thing these days, and I was ready for it to be done before he even got to the entire second part of it, where he unlocks, or he goes to the army basically, and then he actually finds his wife, and that's like a whole 12-hour.
It could have been one of those three goddamn musketeers.
Gotta be 10 hours. It has to be. So yeah, I mean, I could have done maybe 2 hours of that, and it would have been fine. But yeah, it was a whole nother 10, 12-hour aspect of the game, and it just felt like I was ready for it to be over. But I'm always trying to beat games. You hear that? So the shorter the better, in my opinion, which is kind of funny. But yeah. The main characters, there is some development, there is some aspects of you learning a lot about them. So when, you just think he's kind of a doucher, but he shows up and he has some tender moments and he has some character development as he goes through the game, and it shows you kind of who he is, and he's not just some, biker brute guy who's a kind of a douchebag, but overall he really genuinely means well. A thing I do want to discuss is simply just about how he has this thing where I don't think you would really find it in modern games because of all the DEI stuff that's going on and things, but he really wants to protect women in this game. If they're unarmed, he will go out of his way. And I think with the modern audience, I think that people would have an issue with that type of patriarchy being shown. So this is a sign of it. It's the time that this game was developed. So, it came out, I think it was 2018, 2019 maybe, and it probably took 4 years to develop. So we're talking 2015, 2014. At this point, it's 10 years ago. So it's kind of an old, archaic perception of how men should be in this video game, and I just kind of, I enjoyed it. It's not like I was offended in any capacity. I just thought it was kind of funny to notice that they probably would get negative feedback these days if they went the route that they did. But yeah, the enemy variety in this game is it's nice. There's good enemy variety. There is a diverse set of boss fights, I guess. Technically, they're just introduce a new type of zombie or a new type of enemy with you, like a brute or whatever, or a new type of bear that is like a zombie bear, or a grabber or whatever the guy was. He was a swifty dude who just kind of dashed back like he was a a zombie. So it was interesting. It was fun. It was, some of them were like the bear specifically was a straight up bullet sponge. I could not do anything to him for over. So it just felt like, too much health, but it was good. It was fun. The adventure was good. I was glad it was over when it was over, but I
Do you know?
definitely felt that there were some beats that I vibed with,
No.
and I'm glad that it ended the way it did.
Rivers don't have.
But yeah, Days Gone. Glad I played it. Glad I knocked it off my backlog. Thank you for sticking to the end. Hit that like button and the subscribe button, please, and thank you. I appreciate you.
Have all given up
Thanks for
their
tuning in.
names. Except for me.